Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this TrinSoft webinar where we will be going over what's new with Microsoft Dynamics GP 2018 R2. My name is Bobby Haggard, and I'm one of the consultants here at TrinSoft. A few housekeeping notes before we get started. I have muted the phones to try and cut down on some of the background noise from everybody. If anybody has a question or a comment, please use the chat feature and please direct that question to Tara Cox. She'll be monitoring the chat feature. And then at the end, if there's time for Q&A, we'll open up the phones and then address anything on chat as well. Finally, if you would like a copy of the slides made available to you at the end of the meeting, we can certainly do that. Just please feel free to send me an email or give me a quick call. We'll be happy to send those out. And I'll have my information posted here at the end. All right, let's get started by taking a quick look at our agenda. Our agenda is fairly straightforward. First, we're excited to announce that Microsoft has released Microsoft Dynamics GP 2018 R2. It was released on October 2nd, and it's currently available. A quick reminder or recommendation from TrinSoft, we recommend that you do not upgrade to GP 2018 R2 until at least the first service pack is released, which is usually a few months after the full release. This ensures that any add-on ISV products, third parties, can be fully compatible by that time. It also ensures that you don't run into any bugs that may have slipped through the cracks in the new version. No matter what, we always also encourage you to double check with your ISV third party to be sure that it is compatible with the newest version of GP when upgrading. Microsoft GP 2018 R2 enhances the core applications and user experience. This was done by taking into account top features requested by customers. Microsoft also added several key enhancements around sales optimization and purchasing usability. Finally, Microsoft added several nice financial enhancements that we'll go over as well. So let's get started by reviewing some of the top features requested by customers. Now, there have been several features added that have been requested by customers such as yourself, such as the ability to hide Business Analyzer in Navigation Lists for all users, the ability to increase the GP password maximum length, a notice when a Dynamics GP password is about to expire. Customers have also requested that SmartList Designer favorites be able to be displayed in Navigation Lists, and finally that mass update inactive actions within Navigation Lists, such as inactive and reactivate and temporary, be made available. So let's quickly touch on these features. First, system administrators now have the ability to turn off Business Analyzer for the home page and or navigation list at the system level. This is done via the system preference window. Now, when this Business Analyzer feature is disabled at the system level, individual users can still choose to turn Business Analyzer back on in their desired locations via the Customize Options window. Another new feature is that GP has increased the maximum length for a user's password. It's now 21 characters, which is an increase from the previous 15 characters. This increase in password allows for more complexity with additional characters being allowed. In order to add more security, this has helped us to add more security to your GP environment. Finally, GP now provides users with a notification 7 days in advance of their login password expiring. So no more just not being able to log in due to a password expiration. You'll now receive a notification that says that your password will be expiring within 7 days. This allows users to proactively update their passwords before the expiration date specified in your password policy configured by the system admin. Another nice enhancement or feature that's been added is the ability for SmartList favorites created via the SmartList Designer are now have the ability to appear in SmartList Navigation Lists. Now your favorite SmartList views are available directly from the Navigation List without needing to open the SmartList window first. A nice time-saving feature that has been added is the ability for users to now have the ability to mass update records for accounts, checkbooks, customers, salespeople, vendors, employees, and items directly from the navigation list. Next, we'll shift gears and review some of the key sales optimizations that have been made available with GP 2018 R2. As I mentioned, there are several features that have been added that will help in the area of sales optimization. These include the ability to print invoices in functional currency with the Sales Order Processing Navigation List, sales workflow including credit limits, new smart lists for deposits on unposted sales transactions, the ability to print and email SOP documents at the same time. There's additional sort options in the sales order processing item inquiry window. You can now email customer statements from the customer maintenance window. And then finally, the ability for customer combiner to retain the shipping address. So let's quickly review each of these. First, users now have the ability to choose whether they want to print sales documents in the originating or functional currency from the sales order transaction navigation list. Hopefully this will save you some time, as this was a multi-step process in previous versions, and you would have to open extra windows to change the currency to print options when desired. So a nice time saver there by Microsoft. Next, GP has continued to redevelop workflows to benefit users at various companies. We're now introducing Workflow 4.0 in GP 2018, and 2018 R2 expands that workflow for sales transactions. In general, workflows have been a major improvement over the years, and have saved hours upon hours for companies. Now, sales transaction workflow has been added as a new workflow within the workflow maintenance. Not only can you set workflow approval or on customer credit limits, but you can set workflow approvals on all transaction types and sales transactions entry. GP added a new email message to work with sales transactions, just like the other workflow types, so the workflow history is displayed in inquiry windows as well. The next feature we'll cover here is that users can easily view deposit amounts associated with unposted sales order invoices and orders via the new Deposits on Unposted Sales Transaction Smart List. Now, this report can be found within Smart List in the Sales section, and then drilling down within the Sales Transaction folder. This is where users will find the new Deposits on Unposted Sales Transactions report. The next feature is the ability for Sales Documents Print Options windows. Users can now select Print Document and Send Document to email at the same time. Before this release, users had to email the documents and then print what was remaining. But now they can do both at the same time, so another nice time-saving feature. All right, with this upgrade, there are several new sorting options available for documents in the sales order processing item inquiry window. This includes the item number, document type, document date, and customer ID. All right, in the customer maintenance window, you can now email statements with the click of a button. A new email icon can be found on the menu bar of the customer maintenance window. This is a great way to quickly email out a statement to a customer if they would request it outside of your normal statement cycle. Now, be sure to note here, email functionality is dependent on Word templates being enabled and properly configured for your company. All right, in prior versions of GP, the ship to address name field was removed when a customer was combined or modified using the customer combiner and modifier utility. Now, the ship to address name is retained when the customer is modified within the customer combiner utility. So that's a nice change that's been made. All right, so that was a quick look at some of the sales enhancements added with this new GP release. Let's now take a look at the features added around the purchasing usability. And these include the ability for partial purchase in a PO that was initially made from a purchase requisition. Users also have the ability to add vendor document number to the purchasing all in one view. Users can display vendor hold status on Windows. GP also won't display inactive checkbooks and lookups anymore. There's the ability for email purchase orders other form to be selected on the PO entry window. And then finally, users can make a checkbook ID default when creating a check batch. So we'll take a look at these as well. First, when a user is creating a PO from one or more purchase requisitions, users now have the option to purchase a quantity less than what was initially requested on the PO preview window. The remaining quantity on the requisition will then be canceled. So for example, if you had 70 pieces of an item number 128 SD RAM on a requisition, but you only wanted to purchase 35 of those items, you can now adjust the quantity in the PO preview window, as we see here. Another nice feature added to GP is now users can view the applied to document number associated with payments, credit memos, and returns in the purchasing all-in-one window. So nice feature there. While an earlier version of GP introduced the display customer hold status, users found that feature so helpful that they requested it to be added for vendors as well. By adding this status to the vendor inquiry, transactions by vendor, purchasing all-in-one view, and the payables transaction entry zoom window, users now receive a warning if they attempt to process a transaction with a vendor that's on hold. Additionally, when a vendor is on hold, a warning message will also pop up at the payables transaction entry window. Users now have the ability to choose to exclude inactive checkbooks in the checkbook lookup window. This should save some time by having less searching for between multiple checkbooks and more doing of the actual transactions and work required. The PO entry and PO inquiry zoom windows will now allow for the user to choose if they want to email the blank paper or the other form. This can be useful if you are using different PO formats, depending on the type of vendor that the PO is being emailed to. Again, just wanted to note that if you wish to change the email address or message ID, this change must be made on the purchase order transaction itself in the purchasing email detail entry window before sending. Again, as I noted before, email functionality is dependent on the Word templates being enabled and properly configured for your company, which we as TrinSoft can certainly help with that as well. All right, finally, with this release of GP 2018 R2, when a computer check batch is created from a payables payment window, the checkbook ID will default into the appropriate field in the payables batch entry window. In prior versions of Microsoft GP, when a payables batch was created with a computer check origin, the default checkbook ID does not default into the payables payment batch entry window. Now, this default check ID for payables management is defined in the payables management setup window. All right, so that covers a few of the major enhancements and features around purchasing usability. Let's quickly move on to financial enhancements. And these include some of the features that follow. Exclude items from the HITB from zero quantities or value. So the historical inventory trial balance will now have the ability to exclude zero quantities or zero value items. Another enhancement is transaction level posting through to the general ledger. You now have the ability for monthly and bi-monthly recurring batches. GP also allows to not allow duplicate check numbers. Some expansion on that. There's a couple of payroll options around payroll check register. They added the FICA totals. They also shared the maximum for benefits and deduction. And then finally, a pay code start and end date was provided. And then there's a enhancement around the web client and the letter writing assistant option. And then finally, we'll touch on the intelligent edge with the system. So let's quickly review these. First is a new feature is the ability to exclude items from the historical inventory trial balance with zero quantities or value. Now, there are now two new options that are available when printing the historical inventory trial balance report. These options will appear in the inventory activity reporting options window and can be selected individually or both at the same time. And those are include items with zero quantity or include items with zero value. Microsoft has now made it possible for users to post through to the GL at the transaction level. Now before, transactions had to be already saved to a batch to do so, and if not, a batch waiting to be posted would be automatically created. So we're also showing here by area a list of windows from which users can post through to the general ledger files at the transaction level. So again, that's a change that GP has recently made. Next, users can now specify that a recurring batch should end on the last day of the month when creating recurring batches. In older GP versions, this posting date defaulted to 30 days from the previous date, and it didn't have any way to account for months that were shorter or longer than 30 days. Another financial related enhancement is around duplicate check numbers. In the checkbook maintenance, the option to allow or not allow duplicate check numbers has been extended to the bank transaction entry, payroll manual checks, and miscellaneous checks windows. This means that if this option is not checked, duplicate checks are not allowed in these three windows. Previously, this option only applied to the payable checkbook window. All right, a few payroll enhancements here. FICO totals have been added. This payroll feature makes it easier to view and print total employer and employee FICO totals owed. Added to the payroll check register report, a new total FICO owed, total employee FICO owed, and totals for both FICO Medicare and FICO Social Security, all print on the payroll check register report now. That's shown below. Another payroll enhancement is that with GP is that they shared the maximum benefit and deduction code. This new window allows users to set up calendar year maximum for things like 401k, insurance, and other options. This new setup window, deductions and benefits shared limit setup window, looks at the year-to-date amount and compares it to the calendar year max in this new window. The final payroll feature is the addition of new start date and end dates for each pay code in the employee pay code maintenance window. This is used when building the check run as to whether to include the selected pay codes. So if the check run is before the start date or after the end date, that pay code will not be included. Microsoft also made an enhancement to the web client around the letter writing assistant. This is now available in the web client. When in the SmartList window and the user clicks on the Word option, the templates are now available as they have been in the Windows or desktop client. So a nice addition there. Then finally, with this release, you can take some of your master record GP data and put it in the cloud with Business Central. Microsoft Business Central will provide your users with a cloud option or a mobile portal for analyzing your on-premise data. When you install GP 2018 R2, you will see a new tab on your homepage labeled Intelligent Edge. This is what will grant you access to all this new technology has to offer. Okay, so that was a very quick review of several of the key features and enhancements of GP 2018 R2. Who's ready to upgrade? To schedule an upgrade or review options, please contact TrinSoft today. You can contact me, Bobby Haggard, with my email and phone listed there, or my coworker, Tara Cox. I provided her email and phone as well. With that, I thank you for attending our webinar. I will unmute the phones and we can certainly take any questions, or if you have a question you don't want to speak up, please feel free to use our chat feature as well. All right, so I have unmuted the phones. If anybody has a question, please feel free to reach out, speak up, and we will certainly try to address that question. If you'd like a copy of these slides, again, please feel free to give me just a quick email. I'll be happy to send those your way. If you have any other questions or concerns that TrinSoft can help you with, please feel free to reach out and we will be happy to follow up with you directly. Tara, are there any questions through the chat feature?
Nope, I do not see any.
All right, with that, we will end the webinar. Thanks again for everybody for attending. If there's anything TrinSoft can help you with, or if you'd like some more details about GP 2018 R2, please reach out and we'll be happy to follow up. Thank you and have a great day.